What's going on, guys? My name is Saleha. For those who don't know me, I'm a music artist and a producer, and I am sharing my journey on how I'm going to find success in the music industry. So today I wanted to talk about specifically your social media pages and the point of those pages. So there's kind of two school of thoughts here that I've noticed. The first being that your social media page is kind of the book that can be opened up into getting to know you as a human being, as an artist, whatever it is that you do. That's maybe even outside of music, and I think that's good to share those things. The second school of thought is to create a social media page with one point in mind. So for example, let's say you have a social media page as an artist, and all of your content is around basically sharing your music. But you want to do it, of course, in a fun, entertaining way. But the call to action would be, for example, to stream your latest song. So your link in bio is your link to all of the streaming options for that particular song that you're currently promoting at the time. Now, here's the thing that I've seen too, is I've seen a lot of people, like, you go into the link tree and you have like 40 different links basically, and there's so many different links. I personally can't find what I'm looking for. So if I'm going onto the artist page to listen to their music and they have like 30 other links and their music one's buried deep in there, I'll usually just not even look for it. I'll just be like, all right, whatever, I guess I'm not going to listen to this artist, and I'll just exit out of the page and go back. So I think it's super important, even if you do have multiple links, to keep the main point of your page the main point of your page. I've noticed there's people that do, for example, they'll do music, they'll do maybe a podcast, they'll do a few other things, but they'll create separate pages for those individual things, and then the call to action for each thing is specific to that page. So for example, if it's a podcast, that link in their bio is to their YouTube channel that has the podcast, or Spotify that has the podcast, or Apple Podcasts that has the podcast. So I think you have to be really careful, especially in today's age where people are constantly, I would say the majority of people are scrolling through Instagram Reels, TikTok, or YouTube Shorts. And you're lucky, I would say, if they click on your profile, because most people, they're just trying to be entertained, so they just scroll. But let's say on the off chance they click on your profile, you want to make it as easy as possible for them to find the thing that they're looking for. And if your page is around music, if the content that you're making is around music, then they're probably interested in your music or you as a human being. But most likely it's your music, because they can just scroll through your content and see you as a human. But if they want to go further and actually listen to the song that you're promoting, they're going to click it, and they're going to click the link, and then it's going to pop up to your link that has all of your music listening options, such as Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, etc. So just a short thought today. I'm kind of bouncing back between the two ideas. It's like, do I share a lot of content around me on social medias that links to other things, or do I create separate pages? So for example, I'm starting a couple podcasts here. So I'm going to create separate pages for the podcast. And the podcasts themselves, yes, one's going to be around music and one is not. One's going to be around just going and interviewing people that are successful, and they're successful in different fields. And I'm trying to figure out how they got there. What are the common denominators between all of these people that are in different fields that have reached a high level of success? So I'm trying to figure this whole thing out. And that's going to be kind of my journey with you guys, to share what I learned. So what I guess what I'm going to do then to start off is I'm going to create a separate page for my music stuff. I'm going to create a separate page for the podcasts. And then I'm going to promote those podcasts on those pages. And then I'm going to promote the music content around those pages. And people will naturally be able to find who I am. And they'll be like, oh, that's the podcast guy. Oh, that's the music guy. He also does a podcast. And then the call to action will be specific to that page. I used to have a link in bio where it was a bunch of different links. But you can also check the analytics too. So maybe do an experiment. Post one of your songs in the top, post it in your link tree, the link to your song in your link tree with a bunch of other links, and then post just the link to your song in your profile. And then you can look at analytics, because that's what we have nowadays, and you can see what people click more. So far I've noticed that people click more on the song if it's just one singular link, but that's up for experiment. That's one other thing that I want to talk about too, is a lot of these, I know I used to think I have to have the perfect content idea before I put it out, or the perfect song idea that's going to fit with content before I put it out. And I think that's useful, but I think a large part of figuring out like what resonates with people on a mass scale is putting out content and then seeing your analytics afterwards, seeing what resonates with people, seeing what goes viral and why, and then maybe do more of that thing that is working. Because if you're just doing things that are not working, what's the point of doing it, right? So think about that. That's one thing that I've been noticing. Focus on what works, but you're only going to find out what works if you put out a bunch of content, a bunch of music. That goes the same with music. Like maybe, I mean, obviously like Rick Rubin, I read his book just a while ago. He says you have to like make music for yourself to satisfy yourself. And then by extension, it'll satisfy the listener. So he's saying don't make music for the listener, make it for you. And I agree with that. I totally agree with that. However, sometimes different types of music resonate more with bigger audiences, right? Like it just depends on the type of music that you're making. It depends on the time. It depends on the platform you're promoting it on. It depends how you promote it. So I know for me personally, like I have ADD, so I have a really hard time just sticking to one type of music. I get really bored pretty quickly. So I like to explore different things. So just a couple days ago, I put out a few country songs. I've never done country before, but I'm like, why not try to do some pop country? So I did. And I personally think that it is developing me as an artist in different ways than it would if I'm just sticking to one lane. So I would say just overall, just think about the point of your page. Why are you creating? What are you creating? What's the point? Think backwards. So like, think like, okay, I want to get people to stream my song. So let's say that's my goal. Okay, so then we need to make a social media page around that goal, which we would want to then create content, entertaining content, because they're on entertainment apps, right? Social media, like, you know, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, like all of that they're platforms to be entertained. So create entertaining content around your music that's not just for you, but that will entertain the watcher or the listener. And then once that happens, they'll be more inclined to then go and click on your link, which is your music streaming link in Spotify, Apple Music, whatever it is that you're promoting, and you are going to get streams in turn. So you got to think like, how can I generate more streams in the easiest way possible? What's the easiest way I can get people to listen to my song? But you want to do that in a way that's not like begging for the attention. You have to do it in a way that's providing content, that's providing information, that's providing entertainment for somebody else to then go onto your profile and be like, okay, this guy's funny, or this is really emotional, like it really touched me in a certain way. I really feel a type of way from this content. I like this guy or gal, whatever it is, and I want to hear the actual song. I want to be a follower of his music because I like who he is as a human being. So think of ways that you can share more content based around who you are as a human to show your personality, because people ultimately will like your music if they like you as a human being. That's pretty much it. Like, let's be honest. If they like you, they're going to like your music. Anyways, I hope this helps, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.